Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Slay to Success Talk Show. I am your host, Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success Consulting. I support women and professional organizations to achieve professional success by working with them on their image and their impact. And we're focusing on the ABCDs because we are talking about the holistic approach. When you work with me, we're looking at your appearance, your behaviors, your communication skills, and your digital presence. I am a professional keynote speaker, an image consultant, personal brand expert, and as you all know, all right, United States Air Force veteran of 30 years. Huh? And so, as we are on this show, the purpose of this talk show, y'all, is to bring in men and women and highlight them because they are living life on their own terms and they're doing it by using the slay philosophies, and they're making some positive impact. Slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym. S stands for stay ready, be ready. L, lead out loud. A sense of community, a sense of family. And Y, you are built to last. So if you are here, and I see that Leslie, you are already in the building. Hey, madam, how's it going tonight? How are you doing? Leslie is streaming in from Florida. Excuse me, can't even talk. From Florida. So I know it is warm down there. Okay, so thank you so much for being with us live as you always here and supporting me on the Slay to Success Talk Show. So if you are here tonight, please make sure, all right, that you put down where you're coming in from, you're streaming from. Let us know, why you here, what kind of questions you have as they pop up. And we're going to have a full-blown conversation tonight, okay? You're well? Okay, awesome. And yes, it is. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. You know how I do. All right. Fashion is one of those things that I absolutely appreciate. So thank you so much for that. All right. So tonight, y'all, we have a SLAYMAZING guest. Okay, I met her through another networking event, and it was actually on one of those live networking events. And we said, "Hey, we're going to get on a call." Hey, Regina, how you doing? Maryland in the house. That's right. I'm from Maryland too. So thank you so much. Put down where exactly you are from Maryland because you never know. We might be able to meet in person one day, right? So we are here to connect, not just here passively, but actively. All right. So make sure you put down where you are so that way I know exactly where you are. Okay. So thank you so much for being here, Regina. So when we met, okay, we met one-on-one. I was like, y'all, this is my soul sister. Okay. This is my sister from another mister. Okay, so we gonna have a full-blown conversation and y'all gonna just hang tight. All right. Hey Thelma, how you doing tonight? Thank you so much for showing up. I love what you're doing. So keep on slaying, my queen. All right. So and Thelma is, I don't know if she's still in the States or not. I think you're out of state still. So let us know where you're at because I know how you do. You travel back and forth. But we met and I said, wait a minute, y'all, wait a minute. Okay, so we're going to introduce and welcome our guest. Let me just share with you who we have tonight. Her name is Julie Jones, and she is an etiquette expert and sought after public speaker. Her company is Today's Professionals Consulting and Development, which specializes in executive leadership, business etiquette, and interpersonal skills training. Julie's client base includes a wide variety of organizations from HPE and American Airlines to SMU, Texas Tech, and Tulane universities, as well as local banks, law firms, and accounting firms. Her most popular topics for classes include elevating your executive presence and image, business networking, a strategic approach, entertain like an executive, and improving communication through the process communications model. Julie holds a bachelor's degree in business, a master's degree in education, is a certified business etiquette and international protocol consultant through the Protocol School of Washington, and a Choose to Win coach through Ziglar Incorporation. So please give a warm welcome to our guest. Hey, Julie.
Hey, it's so good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so happy that you're here too. I was just like, this is so divinely just the way that we
Amen.
our paths have crossed. I was just like, wow, there's someone else who is just as passionate about, executive leadership, business etiquette, all these little details that
Yes.
and when they add up, they are make the most difference. And people sometimes are missing out on this. And so just please tell the audience a little bit about yourself, kind of what you do, where you're at, so they know.
Okay, I'm coming to you live tonight from Dallas, Texas. I was in Florida though yesterday morning. I flew in. I was attending a conference there. I was in Destin, beautiful Destin. And I will tell you, look, this is girl talk, right?
Hmm.
So when I was in Destin with the humidity, I had this full, beautiful head of hair. I come back from Dallas and I'm like, I don't know where all the volume went because of the humidity.
The humidity takes it right away.
I mean, it was curly and it was, it was great. So,
Mhm.
but no, I am, I was a teacher for 15 years in a private school administrator. And I remember, everything that you hear coming out of education is true, right? Teachers work, they go in early, they stay late, they use, yes, Leslie, I agree 100%. Um, but they use their own money to buy things for classroom. They take work home with them. They work during the summers. They don't always have summers off. And so we were sitting in, it was the school year 2010, 2011, and we were sitting in professional development. And our principal said, we're hearing from the business community that they're not ready. When they come out of high school and college, they're not ready. So we've got some more things we're going to do this year. And you could just feel the room and the air just go, like, what more do you want from us? Like,
Yeah.
we didn't have planning periods. I mean, we had to meet during our planning periods. Rarely ever did we have planning periods. We had so many calls we had to make and so many things that we have to do. And so I came home and started doing research.
Mm.
And I said, why are they not ready? I mean, we are doing so much. Why are they not ready? And I read article after article that companies were hiring etiquette consultants to come into their companies to work with their young employees because they don't know how to navigate a professional setting. And Rochelle, they were saying things like, we have to coach our young people not to go to a business dinner and order jello shots.
Ah,
Uh, This was in an article. And so I thought, I can do this. I mean, this
yes.
is, and my husband was like, this is you tied up with a bow. Like, you have to do this. So he started researching, and I'd heard about the Protocol School of Washington. And so the following summer, I was there. And attended their classes. And I became certified in 2011.
Hmm.
And I thought that I would go into the classroom. I mean, the schools were hiring me. I'd keep my job and I would do this as a stipend. And really what the school systems told me was that they don't really need a certification to do this, that they already do it. They already teach it. They could get a basketball coach to do it during activity period. It's not a course. Um, and they just kind of poo-pooed on it a little bit.
Hmm.
So I went to GoDaddy and did a little website by myself, and I put it up, and companies started calling me. And what's interesting is this was when the millennials were coming into the workforce, and everybody was like, "Oh, these millennials, they're so entitled, millennials." Today, we're reading the same articles about these Gen Zs. Oh my gosh, they don't know how to have face-to-face conversations. And you know what?
Hmm.
Every generation has this because when you come out of high school and college, you don't have life experience. And so it
Yeah.
is our job to teach them. It's our job to give them the life experience and to link arms with them and to provide the scaffolding for them so that they can learn and they know what to do. And so I have loved every last minute of the last 13 years.
Yeah. Oh man, you just said so much in this
I
small
know.
period of time. So,
This
you
is
know,
me. This is what I do.
listen, first of all, I'll welcome in our new guest that came in. Dwayne, thank you so much for being
Hi,
here.
Dwayne.
Dwayne's here, Chevy is here. And
Hi,
so
Chevy.
thank you so much. We are just getting started. Y'all ain't missing, a beat on here because she is really talking about, how like and Leslie put it very pointedly. Great point. I have said that they need us as mentors, and it's
Yes.
absolutely true.
Yeah.
So you're saying, you found a gap, you found a need, you went to school to be a business etiquette or an etiquette
Yeah.
consultant,
Mhm.
and came back, went to GoDaddy, okay, and generated your own website, kind of got things rolling. And this
Yeah.
is what we're talking about, y'all, when we're saying living on our own terms. We go after things and we set things up for ourselves, even when people say, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, the basketball teachers or the basketball coaches, they can just teach this. It's like, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. This
Right.
is a whole new ball of wax here. We need somebody who's been a little bit, educated on these particular sites. So now when you go in, how do people call you in? Kind of give us the pitch that they have for you when they want you to come in and do presentations.
So there's several approaches to this. First of all, there could be a problem in the office.
Mm,
Maybe
mm,
they're seeing that they've got a group of interns that come in that are not dressing appropriately. And Rochelle, you know what I'm talking about. Especially on the women's side. And I will say, we as women have it so difficult to choose professional clothing because fashion, our idea of fashion in Texas is different than LA, right?
yeah,
Professional dress.
yes.
The whole country, I believe, has gone pretty casual for the most part.
Mhm.
But when you watch shows like Selling Sunset, or some of those reality shows that are in California, and the women are dressed differently. That dress doesn't really go over here in Texas, and so a lot of the girls coming out of college, they're trying to save money, and I get it. I mean, I get it. They're trying to save money, and maybe they've got a cute dress that they go out in. But
Mhm.
the younger girls in high school and college, when they go to like proms and things like that, they wear dresses that are super short, really, really, skin tight, those
Mhm.
types of dresses to those dances and things. And they think, well, I've already got this really cute dress, paid a lot of money for it. It took me to, whatever event. I'm going to throw on a jacket, a blazer, and I'll, put some shoes, and they think that that goes into the office.
Mhm.
But really it doesn't. And so what we find then is if they have a male supervisor, that male supervisor isn't going to say a
They're
word
not
to
gonna say a word.
but it's not representing the brand of the company. So
Yes.
when I come in, I talk about what is the dress code of the company, because that's
Mhm.
what really dictates what you wear.
That's right.
And then within those guidelines, what are the guidelines that are professional? So how short should a dress be or a skirt be? And
Mhm.
so we talk about those guidelines. Not too tight, not skin tight. I mean, and then clothes that aren't, shirts that aren't too form fitting. We don't wear the midriff tops and show our midriff,
Mm-mm.
here. Although now in LA on some of those reality shows, that's what they're wearing,
Yeah.
and it looks great. It's
Yeah.
high end, it looks great, but does it translate into your office? And are you representing the brand of the
Mm.
company that hired you? And that's really what we want to look for is how do you blend your style with the company's image so that your clients then are seeing what is expected out of the brand.
Yes. Yes. So y'all, like, just forewarning right now, me and Julie had a conversation for like an hour and a half on this, right?
Oh, no.
Because we were very passionate about this subject.
Yeah.
But you're speaking to this because, society as a whole has kind of dictated how fashion is,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
evolving, and I understand that, but like you said, when you're going into an office setting, a professional setting, and you are not just representing yourself, you're
Right.
representing the brand of the company.
Yes.
So being mindful as you're going about making sure, hey, does this shirt, is it speaking to that?
Right.
And y'all, we know, okay, we know that you can go into some of these companies and they got a lax dress code. I get
Oh,
that. Or we were talking about, hey, if you are a plumber, we not expecting you to be in a suit when you
no.
come and fix my
No.
toilet. All right.
That's not,
So
no.
so
Right. But we do expect you to be in a uniform,
yeah.
right? We do
Yeah.
expect you to have on a logoed shirt that looks nice and is clean,
Yes.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, we don't want you to come in with some kind of, concert t-shirt
Yeah.
and you haven't if I'm your last call of the day and it's in Texas or Florida and you've been working all day, do you still have on that same shirt or have you changed shirts? Have you put on some fresh deodorant? Have you taken a personal wipe and kind of wipes that like in the
Yeah.
back of your van? Are you doing something to make sure that you smell good?
Yeah. It's so important. It is absolutely important. So Dwayne had a comment before and he said, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of foolish people suffers harm.
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
he brings these very powerful statements
Wow.
that we have to really stop and think about because it's so
Yeah.
true, right?
And I
And
want
he's
to ask Dwayne, is that a proverb?
yes,
Okay.
I'm sure Dwayne will let us know. He will
It
confirm.
sounds like it's probably, but I've read Proverbs a couple times and I can't think of those exact words, but that sounds like something that would
Yes.
come from
If
Proverbs.
you follow Dwayne, he is
Okay, I'm
retired
gonna watch it.
military and on LinkedIn, and he is very much he speaks to all of the great um, phrases, if you will, or words from the Bible, and shares
Okay.
with. So he said yes. He
That's a
said yes.
proverb. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Um,
So Dwayne, I'm going to connect with you because I need more of that. I want to
believe
follow
me.
you.
And he also says company culture is from the top down and climate is from the bottom up.
Wow.
Frontline leadership has to be trained to tell the truth with confidence.
Confidence. Tell the truth.
Dwayne,
I mean, I'm just
we
going to
love
say
you.
amen. I'm just
Amen.
going to
That's
say
all we say.
amen.
Amen. Yes. So this comment, I mean, we can stay on here for a little bit longer, but it's
Wow.
something that again, from our experiences, of being leaders and out in front and that kind of
Mhm.
being the example,
Yeah.
we have to be able to train other people, right? To be able to say, hey, what you got going on right now, or however you're wearing it, it's probably not, in alignment with our values. So, or our dress code. And
Right.
sometimes when you say that, men have a hard time telling women,
Yeah.
oh, that's probably not appropriate, to be wearing.
Because then you know what's going to happen is, why are you looking? What is it that, it's kind of a catch 22. And I know you just froze. So I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. Okay. You got it. You're back. You're back.
Hmm.
But it then becomes, why are you looking? And then it becomes, well, I mean, you're not in dress code. And so usually there's an HR person then that will step in and do some coaching and training with that person. And I've even known people in small businesses when they say, I don't have money to go buy a new wardrobe.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm trying to work with what I've got. I don't mean to be inappropriate, but this is all I've got. I've been in college.
Yeah.
And so they're doing the best they can. And they'll just say, here's $500. You go to Forever 21 or go to go find things on sale. I mean, Dillard's has some of the best sales. Go find some clothes on sale and we'll start helping you build a wardrobe.
Yeah.
Because it's worth it if you are a great employee, you have the right attitude, because we hire for attitude, right? Because we
Yeah.
can train the skill. We hire for attitude, we hire for culture, and you're worth us spending a little bit of extra money to help you get a wardrobe if you don't have it. I
Yeah.
mean,
I absolutely agree.
yeah, I know people who've done that, and I think it's wonderful. But again, that's that leadership and that mentorship that we were talking about earlier. Look, we just need to help you get acclimated to what it's like coming into a professional world.
Yeah. And there are so many places, like you said, I'm volunteering right now for a place called Success and Style here in my local community.
Mhm.
And each piece of clothing that they have, and these are not like, and I don't like to bash any of the consignment shops, but it's not like Goodwill, and it's not like, some of the other like Salvation Army, where they just kind of throw, these are high end quality pieces. They're $5 a piece. $5.
There are
And then
resource shops
and then
here.
there's resources. They have built a nonprofit
Mhm.
charitable organization so that way women, men can show up with the confidence that they need in the right clothing for their company or their business. And it's an absolutely beautiful thing. So when you say there are resources available, there are. And
Mhm.
we don't have to resort to just, wearing something that's skimpy and it's not in alignment with the company's
Right,
dress code.
right, right. And so you just have to understand what are the guidelines for business professional and business casual and casual now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what does casual look like in an
Yeah.
office? Because like I said, fashion dictates so many for women. There's just a wide variety of styles out there. Now I see that shorts are back, like the nice shorts, like they take dress pants and they cut them off right at the knee or above the knee.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I always thought that was great for Texas because we need that.
This is
I
hot.
mean, I think it's great. But but if you've got the right jacket and the right shirt on and some, professional shoes, some flats or something like that, that might go into most offices here,
Yeah.
especially in July and August.
Yeah.
But I know I worked when I was teaching. I was expecting my second child, and I had purchased a maternity outfit for student teaching, and it was a suit. It was a white shorts with a navy top and a jacket, and I wore flats with it. And I walked into the first day of school, and my principal said, "We don't wear shorts." And I was like, "Oh, but this is a suit." This is a suit, and I'm expecting. And she goes, "No, that's not going to work. You can't."
No.
That was her prerogative too. I mean, it was her campus. She could say
Yeah.
what teachers wore, and so I
Yeah.
had to go home and change.
Yeah. It's a learning, you go in and if you're not quite sure, but you make the adjustments that are required, especially if you want to keep that job.
Right,
And
right,
you want to be valuable
right,
members contributing to the
right,
organization.
right.
So yeah, I absolutely know that professional appearance is definitely one of those things where, first impressions matter. They
First,
matter. And we talked about that, so what are your thoughts to that, and kind of how do you share that with your audiences on what that truly means?
well, there's a lot to unpack here. So,
Yes, so let's
with
get
first
unpacking.
impressions, so let me just start off by saying the opposite is true as well. I mean, you can be overdressed. So
Yeah.
know your audience. Know your audience, and what does your audience expect? If you're going to see a client, what does your client expect when they whatever your company is? And so if it's a bank, they're going to expect at least, even if you have on jeans, which I think most banks say that if you are client facing that day, they want you to wear at least dress pants. But
Mm-hmm.
let's say you're wearing jeans. Are they clean? Are they pressed? Are they not frayed? Are they not old? Do you have on a nice top? Even if it's a logoed top, with jeans and a nice pair of shoes, that's great. Um, but know what does your client expect?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think being put together, representing the brand, being in dress code, really goes a long way, because it's about how you show up. And so appearance has a lot to do with it. But above that, your nonverbal language and the
Ah,
way that you talk all goes
yes.
into that first impression. How did you enter the room?
Yes.
How did you greet them? Do you have a smile on your face? Are you excited to see them? And are you prepared for the meeting? Were you on time for the meeting?
Yeah.
And we talked about this. On time is late for a meeting.
Yes. It sure
So, I mean,
is.
did you show up? Did you show up on time? Were you there at least 5 minutes early?
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you have what you need? Do you know what you're going to say? Are you anticipating what the client needs? Are you prepared to answer their questions? Um, did you show up late, frazzled? Um, are your clothes dirty, sweaty? Like we talked about the plumbers. Are you showing up stinky? And look, I just came from Florida, and here in Texas, sometimes when you walk out the door, you feel
Yeah.
like I need a shower, right?
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
what are you doing to stay put together? Do you have
Mm-hmm.
makeup on? Do you have lipstick? Is your hair fixed? And if your hair is dirty, do you have dry shampoo? Do you have it fixed anyway? I mean,
It's a
so much for that,
it
right?
is so much, but when you feel your best, I mean, really, like you've taken care of you in all the different ways that you could, so that way you can show up in your most authentic, best self. The way that the confidence, like it just increases, you'll get more opportunities, the
Yes,
visibility, like
yes,
there's so much on the back end of that. So, people just think, oh, well, I'm just not going to do it today. Like, I'm not going to get dressed today. And
right,
then you walk into someplace and they're actually wanting to put you in a different way and showcase you, but you're not looking the part.
right. You you got to look the part, and you got to look the part from what you're wearing to how you're dressed. Can you put an outfit together? And then do you have your act together?
Oh,
Right? So entering the room, greeting them, being prepared, not being salesy. I mean,
mm,
just being curious about,
mm.
what is it that you need. If you're in sales, stop trying to throw that. We call that. I have a friend who calls that pitch slapping. Quit this pitch slapping all the time.
I'm writing that down.
I know
Pitch
Cheryl Devon,
snapping.
my friend Cheryl Devon, and she's a communication specialist, and she
Oh,
helps you craft your message. And let me tell you, she has a podcast called The Power of the 5 Minute Conversation. And
uh,
I'll tell you, when she said that pitch slapping, I was like, okay, that resonates with me, especially because I do a lot of networking. And
yeah.
so there are people that when you see them coming out of the corner of your eye, you're like, I'm going to turn this way and pretend I don't see them, because you know what's going to happen?
Yeah.
They're going to start wanting me to buy something,
Yeah.
and it's just, I am not networking to buy. I'm not here to network for you to buy from me. I mean, we can network together through each other. Like you and I
Yeah.
mean, we networked great together, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Uh, but not at one time did either one of us try to pitch each other on our
No.
coaching
I think
programs.
we were doing the opposite. We were just very curious as to how did you get into
Serious.
this, and there's no one else really talking to these things like we are, so yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with everything that you shared, and like act like you know what you're supposed to be doing when you get into these places. Really do your homework and find out who's there. And I always looked at who's the decision makers. How
Yes.
do they behave in this type of environment? What kind of things do they talk about, right? You got to elevate the conversation. Sometimes, you may be comfortable with talking about what your neighbors are doing, and that's fine. All right. But they're talking they're talking business operations, and they're talking, how to improve processes. You're going to have to be able to elevate your vocabulary if you're anticipating being put into different opportunities. And Dwayne, of course, I
Ooh,
love him for
okay.
these
I
comments.
can't wait.
He says, I'm a little older than my peers. I like my clothes to express maturity, style,
Yes.
and timeless. I want
Yes.
my I
Classic.
want my clothes to say, come speak to me. Let's talk. I'm
Like, I'm
approachable.
approachable. Yeah. Mic drop, Dwayne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
and I love the fact that when you understand what your clothes, how they can convey a message, and you're just not putting them on just to be putting them on. I
Mhm.
think that's where we get to, you know, um, subliminally saying, "Hey, come speak to me," without
Mhm.
even having to say a word.
Right. Right. And it's not just your clothing that says that.
Yeah,
It's your nonverbal communication. It's
yeah,
the expression on your face. It's your eye contact. It is when you're talking to somebody, are you doing all the talking or is it a conversation? I like to say, I like to talk about 30% of the time, and the other person talks 70% of the time. So if it's 60-40, okay, but I just want everyone to 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 be able to say, I feel like she sees me, like she
yeah,
hears me, like she understands me. Um, and the energy that I put out, I want it to be positive energy so that people feel good about coming into my space.
mhm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
I got a question for you. How do
Uh-oh.
you, tackle a problem of bad breath? I know that's one of the top things that people always have, someone who's in close space, and,
Yeah.
do you offer them a mint? Do you offer them, so how do you, um, how do you talk that through?
All of these questions like this, do you tell somebody if they have broccoli in their teeth, or how
Uh-huh.
do you feel bad breath or body odor or something like that? It really depends on the situation. It
Mhm.
really does. If I'm a manager and I'm talking to an employee and they feel like they have morning breath or something like that, I will tell them, hey, we've got some toothbrushes here in the back, or here's some mints, or why don't you swing by the store and pick up a toothbrush before you go to the client's house? What's going on? Did you, have you had like 3 cups of coffee today? Because you might want to, tone that down. So that's,
Yeah.
that's a management thing. And I tell people all the time, look, I don't want people to see your breath or your body odor. What I want people to see is what a great person you are, what a great
Mm.
plumber you are. I want people to see what a great whatever it is that you are. I don't want them to be worried about this. So I point it out, but I come from it from a place of love, and you can't be your best if you don't know these things.
Right.
If I'm at a networking event and I know that I'm just talking to somebody for a short time, no, I don't. I mean, especially if I don't know them,
Right.
and I'm just networking and we're having a conversation, I try to get to know them as best I can, and then I just make my exit.
Right.
So it depends on the situation and how well you know the person, and can you do it tactfully without them feeling like you're being judgy.
Yeah.
Right now, that's really a big word. Like, you're judging me. I feel like a lot of people feel like they're being judged, and so it's very difficult, especially for me, white middle-aged lady, for me to do something like that. Think about it. I mean,
Yeah.
for me to do that, it puts me in a bad spot. right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Even though I might be doing it from a place of love, I have to think, how is this going to come across to somebody I
Yeah.
don't.
That's true. It is true. And, I had a conversation with Chevy, and Chevy made a comment here. She says, I offer them a mint, or if I know them well, I will tell them.
Yep.
And I
Yeah.
expect anyone that I'm speaking to let me
Let
know,
you know.
you
Yeah.
know, and
And if
go
somebody
ahead.
offers you a breath mint, never turn it down.
That's right. You don't do that. Okay, two
That's great,
things.
Chevy. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You go into, I went to church and they have this big bowl of mints.
Yeah.
And I just grab a handful and just, put it in my
Yeah.
purse. I don't may not need it for right then and there, but you never know when I might need it later. So you're right. Just take the mint, take the piece of gum. Don't even think anything into it. Just
Yeah.
call it as, hey, they were looking out for me, or,
Yeah.
maybe I
Yeah.
need to freshen up every now
I
and
would
again.
appreciate it. Yeah. I would appreciate it if somebody said, "Hey, would you like a mint?" Absolutely. Thank you. And I have done that before when I've said, if I'm pulling out a mint for me, and if you pull out a mint for you, you always want to offer it to whoever's there too.
That's right.
And so I offer it and they go, "Do I need it?"
Yeah.
I say, "Well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I need one, so I just want to offer it because I know I'm an etiquette person, and I think it would be rude not to offer it to you."
Yeah.
So you can play it, play with it, or just whatever. But I always have to just go with my gut and say, how is this going to be received, and how can
Yeah.
I do it so it will be received?
Yeah. And then Regina also says the same thing. It's all in the
Yeah,
finesse and how you do it,
absolutely. Yep. Yep.
because
That's
the
right. Yep.
word judgy, when I got my certification as an image consultant, that was one of the words that came out from one of my family members. It's like, oh, so now you're going to judge us on how we are
Uh,
showing up, from head to toe. And I said,
yeah.
it's more than that. It's more than how you're like dressing. It's what are you saying? How you saying it? Like,
Right.
and it goes a little bit deeper into like, what are you showing people, and is that the perception that you want them to have of you? Do you want to be perceived that way? If you're on, because social media is a thing. I don't care what anybody says. It's a digital footprint. So it's the same as if you were in person talking or hear us virtually. You're on a platform. And so, do you want people to see you, especially companies or organizations, see you doing things that are not
Mhm.
appropriate?
Right. Right. And some young people get upset because
Yeah, they
when
do
companies are interviewing you, they people go and look at your social media.
already.
Yeah, and they're like, "Why are they looking at my social media?" Well, because it's social media, and they wanna see what you're putting out there,
Yeah,
um, and they wanna see who they're hiring because they're hiring to culture. They're hiring for character. They're gonna train the skill, but they're hiring for their culture and their team, and so they need to see what you're putting out there when you don't know people are watching.
yeah. Oh man, that's integrity.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
character.
it's character. So we talked a little bit about, professional appearance and some behaviors and some interpersonal skills, but I also want us to talk a little bit about your Zig Ziglar, like choose to win, like, and the mindset. So, the Y in Slay stands for you are built to last. And it's, one of the things that I really had to think about, especially in the last like 5 to 7 years of my 30-year career. I was like, ooh,
Mhm.
this is a lot. Do I have it within me to continue on this journey? And so
Mm.
share with us a little bit about your experience with Zig Ziglar and kind of what you do with the development that you received from that.
Oh my goodness. So Zig Ziglar has been an important part of my life since I was in middle school when I was first introduced to him. One of the dads in our youth group took over the summer Sunday school class, and he threw out the church curriculum, and my mother was so mad. But he said, this See You at the Top had just come out. And he said, I think that it would just benefit you all to spend a summer learning lessons from See You at the Top. And so I have never loved going to Sunday school more than I did that summer. Uh, my mom thought it was just all positive thinking. Uh, it, and it is positive thinking, but it is so much more that it is faith-based. Now
Yeah.
he was a sales trainer and a motivational speaker, but he was not a preacher. A lot of people think he was a Southern Baptist preacher. He was not. He did
Mm.
teach Sunday school, but he was not a preacher. But he was grounded in his faith. And so he did, though, teach the mindset, because what you think about, you bring about.
Mm.
So, and the long way around that, I used to have a poster in my classroom that said, watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. And
Mm.
so it all starts with what is happening in between your ears. This is the most vital and important piece of real estate on your body right here.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because it tells your other body what to do. And if you are stressed, if your thoughts are, this is the end of the world, you hear a lot of people talking about this is end times, and, and so people get really upset, and they really stress out about that. So if you don't want to get out of bed in the morning because you feel like, the Armageddon is happening, as soon as we get off of this podcast, it's stressful, right? So the whole Ziglar Corporation is about, how do you control your thoughts? What actions can you take that help change your mindset? And there are things like, what are you listening to when you wake up in the morning?
Yes.
Do you get up and turn the news on? And and so, yes, what we think in our heads becomes reality. Yes, Chevy, you're so right. And so, when you get up and turn on the news, what do you think? What are you seeing? You're seeing the robberies, the murder.
Murder, death, kill.
Yeah, the politics right now. Politics. Oh my gosh, that will
Oh my
stress you
gosh.
out. Stress you out. And I used to live in politics. I
Mm-hmm.
used to just on Sunday mornings, I would get up and watch all the Sunday political shows. And I was a nervous wreck. I was anxious all the time.
Wow. Yeah.
I quit doing all of that, and I am so happy. I love my life, and I get up every morning, and I am a person of faith. And so I get up and start my day at the Bible, and a gratitude journal. And this is, and in Ziglar, we teach this as well. What does your morning routine look like? And if you are not a person of faith, what are you doing to put positive thoughts in your mind? I mean, are you reading motivational books? Are you reviewing your goals every day? Like,
Yes.
what is it that you're going to accomplish today? Are you setting your mind right? Are you moving? Are you moving? And I mean, I don't mean you have to be a gym rat and, lifting heavy weights, but are you walking? Are you stretching? Are you doing any weights? I mean, what is it that you're doing? Are you eating breakfast, or are you doing intermittent fasting? What is the plan for your nutrition? And how are you positively fueling your body?
Yes.
I mean, it's just, and listen to what I'm saying. What are you doing? What actions are you taking? I think you and I talked about this. What I'm seeing right now and hearing from my friends who are still in education, and what I'm seeing as I work with young professionals and companies, I'm seeing right now that there's not a lot of acceptance of personal accountability and what I call mental toughness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had this conversation last week when I was at the conference in Destin, Florida. Somebody said, I really want to work really hard so that my kids don't have to go through the hard times that I went through. And hey, Latressa, how are you? I know she just popped that up.
Yes, she's here. So thank you so much for coming in. You came at the right time,
I
Queen. We're
know,
talking
right?
about mindset.
Yeah. And so I said, don't protect your kids too much, though, Because as hard as it is for us as parents to watch our kids go through hard times, if we don't teach them how to do that, it is those low valleys in life, those difficult times that help us get through so that the peak times of our life are so much better, because
Yeah.
we can't all live on a peak time. Our life is not designed that way. It's ups and downs. And so we have to have the mental toughness to say, okay, this is a temporary season. What can I do to get through it? And
Yeah.
it always comes back to me. If you're in a bad relationship, and I'm not talking about abuse or anything like that, but I'm talking about your marriage has taken a downturn. What can you do right now? Because you can't change your spouse, but you can change you. And so what are you doing? What are you doing at work that, maybe you're going through a tough time at work? What can you do right now to make it better at work?
Yeah.
um and there may be a time that it is time to leave. I'm not saying there's not ever time to leave. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you have the power to change your life.
Yeah. And man, we again, we talked about the mental toughness, the grit,
The grit. Yeah.
the
Grit, resilience.
the resiliency. You dig deep. You understand that this is probably like foreign territory, and you're not quite sure how you're going to get there, and
Yeah.
you're not sure
Yeah.
what it's going to bring. But sometimes we give up too easily, or we give up too soon. Right at the cusp when you're going to see the fruits of your labor, you give up because it was just too hard. And
Yeah.
I am that type person. I'm very vulnerable and transparent about my business journey. you
Mhm.
know Coming from the military, launching a business at 50, being able then to have, right, the experiences. I know we're not starting from scratch, but there are a lot of things that you go into business not even knowing, and it's a steep learning curve. You're having to learn all these different things. If I was to give up at the very beginning, go, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, this is
Yeah.
not going to work, right? Then I wouldn't have met so many people, beautiful people, including yourself, throughout this journey. And you never know where it's going to take you. But you do need to do some tweaking. There is some adjustments, there's some pivots, that you need to do. And so, how do you get that mental toughness? How do you get that grit?
Yeah.
And I think it's just, you got to get up every single time you get kicked down, fall down, you get
Get
back
back
up
up.
again, and you learn from it. And I love the fact when you were talking about how we as parents, sometimes can coddle and kind of like, that's my
Easy.
baby,
It's my baby. I
it's
know.
my baby. I don't want nothing bad happening to him. I don't want to get his feelings get hurt.
Mama bear. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I have a 14-year-old, and I sometimes go in that mode, and my husband has to remind me, how is he going to learn when we're not here? You know? So being able to, be able to have them to learn through the trials and errors, and not solely just taking them. And again, when I got older in the military, we had these younger airmen. And so when you were talking about life skills, like how to like wash your clothes, how to iron, how to, like pay bills,
Right.
right? And so we would, walk them through step by step. And then here you are, now And then it's just like it has evolved. Like, it's now I'm in a season where I have a son, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I've got to teach him how to iron. I need to teach him how to wash these clothes. I need to teach him how to, wash these dishes. That's what we have to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's great to give them chores, give them a morning routine. Like when you wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
I want you to make up your bed. You
Yeah.
got to brush your teeth. You got to, take a shower, whatever it is, get ready for school. And it's okay if, I used to always make breakfast for the kids and would make their lunch. But how about having them make breakfast, every once in a while, or have them make their lunch while you cook breakfast? I mean, it
Mhm.
just, I look back and I think, oh, I would do things so differently.
Yeah.
And we talk about paying bills. So how about, when you have certain things you have to do, give them money for it, give them something, and say, okay, here's your cash. Here's what I want you to do. You have to, give 10% away. You have to put 10% in your savings account, or 20%, whatever. And the rest of it is yours to spend
Mhm. Yeah.
for whatever you want.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time that I realized my daughter is so bougie. She loves nice things, right? She loves
Mhm.
she loves
I'm with your daughter.
I mean, she's all about fashion. And when she played softball, she didn't really care how well she played. What she cared about is, did she roll her sleeves up just perfectly so she could tie the ribbon that matched her bow and her hair and all that, because she had to look good, right? And so she loves that. And so she's worked all her life. She found out early in life that if I go to work, I can get what I want, because mom,
Yeah.
well, I wasn't going to pay for all of that stuff. But I realized that the where the turning point was is because when she was little, I did pay for that.
Yeah.
And she would literally, like, we go get a new set of clothes for school, because you have to get new clothes every year because they outgrow them. Well,
Mhm.
around December, she's ready to go get her whole new wardrobe. And I was like, no, girl, that's not how this works. Yeah. Uh, but she, when I said, okay, here's the cash, this is all I can afford to spend today, so we're going to go shopping. And she used to love to go to Abercrombie and Fitch. That was her favorite store back then.
Oh, yeah. That's
She
high.
had
That's high
two
end.
polos. This was back in the early 2000s. Where they had two polos, and so you
Mhm.
pop the
Yeah.
collar and you had
Yeah.
the colors. Yeah. So that was her, and she would get them from Abercrombie and Fitch. And I
Mhm.
would just come home and go, I spent way too much money, and I would just be beating myself up. Well, I started saying, here's cash. This is your money to spend today. This is all I can afford to spend for you to go get some new clothes today.
Mhm.
She started shopping at Forever 21.
Yeah.
And I said, well, why are you going to Forever 21? She goes, because I can get more for my money. And I said,
Yeah.
well, why did you not do that when I was paying? And she goes, because you were paying. And I was like, see, kids are smart. They're
Yes, they
smart,
are.
right? And
Yes,
they're
they
like,
are.
well, if you're paying for it, I'm going to do it. Right.
Right. Yeah.
But if I'm paying for it, I'm going to, these natural money wise tips all of a sudden just appear.
Yeah.
And
And
so, yeah, so that was my first thing, is like, maybe you should get a job. I
yeah.
think you should go to work.
Yeah. And two, yeah, this is all about creating, humans, because that's what we've
Mhm,
created. We created humans
mhm.
who can survive in these challenging times, and not having to look to somebody else to take care of them, you
Right,
know?
right,
So,
and you know what? Both of my children actually
yeah.
worked from the time they were in high school. My son automatically is thrifty.
Hmm.
He literally, when he was in high school and college, he could go to Goodwill and he would find the clothes that still had tags on them.
Yeah.
And he looked like he walked off, the cover of a magazine. He looks great, but he was like, "Yeah, I found this shirt. It was $3 at Goodwill." And I was like, "Oh, okay, okay."
Hey,
But when he was in
those,
college, if he needed a costume for, he was in a fraternity, if they had some type of thing they needed to dress a certain way or whatever, he'd go down to Goodwill and he'd find the best stuff.
yeah. Yeah. So I too agree that, what if you want something bad enough, and then you'll find a way to get those.
Yeah,
And there's clear. You want
clear.
to, I had to do the same thing. You want extra things, you got to get a job.
Yeah,
Okay. Got a
and they're
job.
fine with it. They're
Yeah,
fine with it. Yeah,
exactly. And these are the little things that I think that create that mental toughness.
yeah.
it's the littlest things that sometimes we take for granted that we're not seeing,
Mm,
that, when we know that our mind, and I love when you said, um, the first quote that you had, and I can't remember, it had mind in it twice. And I was going to write it down. I'll have to go back and listen to the podcast if you don't
mm.
remember.
I'm
But,
thinking of a few quotes. The one about watch your thoughts. That
it
needs to
was
be
the one before that. It was the one you led right into when you were talking about it. And um, really, I know me either, but I will can go back and listen to it. But, our mind and the way that we think about things, and, the mindsets that we need to have when we are, going for things and taking a leap of faith,
Mhm,
and, building businesses, or building a career, or, transitioning from a certain situation that you've never had before. This requires a lot of mental capacity,
mhm,
and if you haven't been challenged before, that's when people have the difficulties. I was talking to a young woman the other day, and she was telling me that she had never traveled by herself on an airline just to go in. It would always be, you know, um, her husband, with her, and she would never look up. Okay, never look up to the signs that were in the airport. She just follow him, right? Go to the desk, go to the kiosk. He take care of everything. And then she found herself in a situation where she had to travel by herself, and she actually took her grandson with her. And, he was helping her. He's 11, but he was helping her trying to figure out where the gates and stuff like that. And she said, all those years of just not even paying attention, not just taking it for what it was, like her husband carrying her bag and, making sure that she had everything she needed. Her mindset and the way that she thought about what she was, doing all these years, it completely, like, in a matter of seconds. She's like, I've got to, be able to communicate to the people at the front desk and tell them what I need.
mhm.
I never had to do that before.
Right.
you
Yeah,
know and
yeah.
it is these things that
Mhm.
I often know, like, as women who are, I'm a very independent type of woman, and my husband's not around, I could make things happen because just I've had my own experiences.
Right.
But you see
Yeah.
that some people don't really have that, and then when they crumble, it's the crumble, right? At the thought of anything that might press them to challenge them outside of their comfort zone. And really, what we're talking about is being able to get into an uncomfortable position and using all the little tools that we've been talking about, like
Mhm,
making sure that you're dressing the part, making sure that your body language, making sure that you're communicating well, make sure, all these little things start to add up to where you can overcome
mhm,
and be in uncomfortable
mhm.
positions.
Right, right. You were wonderfully made, and you're
Yes.
a gift, but you have to do the work. You have to
Yes.
you have to learn. You have to understand that if you try something and you don't get it the first time, that means that you just should try again. Next time. You might have to do some work between now and then. And learn something and practice something and get some new muscle memory and acquire a new skill. And I always forget the name of this. There is a part of the brain that actually grows when you do something you don't want to do. It grows. So
Mm,
in athletes, probably in military personnel, um,
probably.
it's bigger. That part of the brain is bigger than those of us who don't. If we just get up every morning and we're watching, our favorite show, and we're streaming it, and we just kind of go through life just lackadaisical, that part of the brain is not growing. It
Mm,
only grows when you do something you don't want to do.
wow. That's amazing. I'm gonna have to figure out that what that is. And I got some medical background and I don't
I,
know.
I know. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
that is absolutely inspiring to know that. Like, there is activity, there is something that is happening from a physical standpoint that,
yes.
you can say, this part of my brain is actually
Yeah.
growing because
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
putting in the work.
Okay. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay,
So could I
awesome.
put it in the comments? Can I do
Yeah,
that?
yeah, you can. And you just push the,
Okay. Join the chat. Um. Oh. Yeah. I can't do it because I'm not on your chat. So
oh,
let me put it in here, and
you
then
can
you
put
can.
it in the private chat
Yeah. Um.
and then I can put it up. Because
It's
y'all,
called
we
the
want to know what this part
anterior.
of the brain is because um first of all, we've all probably going to learn something new today because I am learning something new. And then, when we are challenging ourselves and pressing ourselves a little bit more than we anticipated, um, Leslie said, I Googled it.
Yeah. Did there
Is
you
that
go.
it?
Anterior mid cingulate cortex. Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I just say
Yeah.
listen, y'all, let them know that's what's happening when you're like,
Yeah. So when you don't want to go to the gym at
yeah,
5:30 in the morning, when you make yourself go to the gym, you think, okay, I'm growing my brain, and not only that, I'm changing my whole attitude for the day. Because when
yeah,
you do something, no one ever goes to the gym when they don't want to and then leaves and goes, oh, I wish I didn't do that.
yeah,
It is. I'm so glad I did that. I feel good. I've already had 2 big glasses of water. I need to come get some protein in, and you're just like, okay, and your entire mood changes
yeah,
because you got up 30 minutes early to go do something.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely
Mhm.
so. Latricia, she
Oh,
is at gym. She goes to the gym early, and she's up at that time. And
okay. Okay.
she, you know, she shows us that she's at the gym, and it's not really for her like a bragging thing, it's just for accountability purposes,
Yep.
like,
Yep.
hey, you listen, you look, y'all,
I'm
I'm
here.
here, I got here. And it takes a lot, to get to that point, but once you're there, and I love it when I can say, I consistently showed up, put the work in, and I now can show you the results of what I have done.
Yes.
You
How
know?
many times have I said, "Okay, I'm going to lose,
Mm,
15 pounds, before my birthday," you know,
mm.
and then my birthday rolls around and I'm like, "I hadn't lost a thing." "Well, why? Why, Julie?" "Well, because you didn't do what you needed to do," you know?
Yeah,
I mean, and
yeah,
there's nobody else to blame but myself.
there isn't.
But then when I do it, and I get to go buy that new pair of jeans that's a smaller size, and I'm like, "Hey,"
Hey, yeah,
I'm proud of myself today.
yeah. And we talked a little bit when we were talking earlier this week about, the change in our bodies and kind of the season and being able to maintain your weight and kind of where you're at. And it is really this. It's really putting your mind to it and saying, hey, I'm not going to let the season of this life get to me so much to where now I'm at a turning point where I don't know where to begin. I have to
Right,
continue on. I have to
right,
maybe change a little bit of the things that I'm eating or to change my activity just a little bit. But
yep,
at the same time, I have goals. And so, that's really, the main premise of what we were speaking about today, tonight. Y'all, we were on here and I knew we would go over because our conversation's always so juicy.
this is what
Okay.
we do.
I did want to acknowledge Dwayne had a comment here. He says a good person out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth good, for out of the abundance of the heart their mouth speaks.
Yes, you know the fruit of their spirit by
Yes.
what they say.
Yes. And you know what?
Dwayne,
Okay, Dwayne, let me tell you, my mom was talking to me about the nine fruits. And I I did not know what she was talking about, y'all. And please
really?
forgive me. Yeah, please
Oh,
forgive me because I am a deacon's child. And
oh,
so, and my mom is in church for, their whole life. So I was like, what are you talking about? And
fruit.
so,
What?
yeah, what are we talking about? It's like kindness, joy, patience, all those virtues. They come from that when we are coming from a good place in our heart.
And let me just add to that, because this is my thing. So love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Those are
Yes.
your nine. So here's the thing, your fruit bowl, you just think about your fruit bowl being in your midsection, right? From where your organs are. Think of that as your fruit bowl. So think about this. What happens when you've got a bowl of fruit and one piece of fruit goes bad? What
The
happens?
whole thing goes bad.
It all goes bad. So let's look at your fruit basket. So your fruit and right here where your organs are, right? All right. So let's say that you're a young mom and your peace is gone. You've got
Mm,
kids running around, you know, um, they're not minding. There's no structure. There's no, they're like, I'm doing what I want. They're back talking, whatever it is, and you're about to lose your mind, right?
mhm,
And so your peace is gone. Well, what happens to your joy? It's gone.
mm, mm,
What happens to your patience? You
mhm,
have none. What
mhm.
happens to kindness, goodness? Do you see how all of this starts to go bad?
Yeah.
And even self-control, because what happens then is you're yelling and screaming at your kids. So you don't even
Mhm,
have self-control, because it started with one piece of fruit. I picked peace. It could be any of it. One of those fruits went bad, and the entire thing went bad. So now what happens is you're anxious, you're depressed.
mhm,
Now your thoughts, here's where this is, because I think that your thoughts can start with your emotions. So now your thoughts are, I hate my life. These
mhm,
kids are a disaster. I'm a terrible mom, right? I don't want to go to work. I don't have enough money to go and buy new clothes. I'm giving everything I have to these kids and they're being disrespectful. All of this stuff happens. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you're stressed out.
mhm.
You're stressed out. Your heart rate is going up. Your blood pressure is going up. There is no peace or joy in life. And you've lost your purpose, because now out of your mouth comes your fruit.
Yeah.
And it's in your head. It's what your thoughts, they become your words. And then what do we know about when your thoughts go bad? The entire course of your life changes.
Yeah.
You have to protect that fruit, that your
Yeah.
fruit bowl. And in the Bible also, it talks about the armor of God.
Mhm,
And the biggest piece of armor is the breastplate.
mhm.
You know what it protects? Your organs. And
Yeah.
what's in your organs? Your fruit.
Mhm. Mm.
Protect your fruit.
Wow. I love that. And y'all should have loved that too. Because that was a mic drop right there. All right. Protect your armor, put your armor on, protect your fruit, and don't let anybody take away from what you are here to do. And
Mhm.
we all have a calling, we all have a purpose to our life. And Julie's purpose in her life, as she's in her season, is to make sure that these folks show up the way that they need to in all these different settings,
Right.
and to also give you the peace of mind of having, a choose to win ideal or
Yeah.
mindset as you're moving
Yeah.
forward in whatever you're trying to do.
Right. You are the
Whatever you're
key
trying.
to changing your life. And
Yeah.
and so whatever whatever I can do, whatever Rochelle can do. I mean, we are here to help you live your life with purpose and joy,
Mhm.
and to be successful and be the person that you were wonderfully made to be. You were
Yeah,
created for a purpose.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, y'all heard it from here. Okay, Julie, I got one more question for you before we wrap it up for tonight.
All right.
And yeah, so you're at your 80th birthday party.
Ooh.
So, what will your family and your friends say about you?
I hope they will say, no, they will say that I was kind and resilient and that I modeled for them. Modeled. I didn't just talk to them. I modeled for them what it was like to live a life with purpose, to live my life for God, and to know that I loved people, of all people, and that my purpose was to be the encourager, because that's my gift, is to encourage people to be their best.
Yes, and I absolutely love that. All right, y'all. So that was tonight's show. Thank you so much, Julie, for all that you have dropped us. All right. And because there's so much to this conversation. And before we leave, y'all, I wanted to um, just let our audience members who came here live, Leslie, Regina, Thelma, Dwayne, Chevy, Latrice,
Thank you for being
Regina. Thank you all for being here with us live tonight. You definitely add value to our conversation. And for those that come back, just go ahead and put in hashtag replay and let's make a full conversation. If there was something that you really liked and a takeaway, just go ahead and put that into the comments and we'll be following up through that. And also we are going to have a guest, okay, another guest next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Slate to Success talk show. So we thank you so much for being with us tonight. Have a slay-mazing week.
Love that.
Okay. Yes. Have a slay amazing week and keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And we will see you all soon. Goodbye.
Bye.